Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is J.R. Moore coming to you live from deep in the mountains of the Missouri Ozarks on Tuesday, the 24th day of October, year of our Lord 2017. Welcome to the John Moore Show. Appropriate tip of the day first. Steve Quayle has an alert section at his website. That's stevequayle.com, I believe. His alert this morning is that people should stock up on water and canned goods. This is from a private source that Steve has. I suggest you read that and pay heed. I think you should pay heed. Special announcement: I will be speaking in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, this coming Saturday, October 28th, 1 p.m. at the Red Line Inn in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. There's a banner at my website at thelibertyman.com giving the address and the zip code, which would be handy for your GPS. Look forward to seeing a lot of you there. There will be no admission charge, by the way. And I will be doing private consultations this coming weekend. If you would like a private consultation, you can get the details at my website where it says professional consultations and keynote presentations. We have a new video posted at my website as of last night. Master Sergeant Roy Benavides giving a speech in 1991. I had the opportunity to meet Roy and spend, not quite 2 hours with him in the early 1990s, not long after he was awarded the Medal of Honor. He has since passed on. He finally died as a consequence of the multiple injuries he suffered during a 6-hour period of time in combat in Vietnam. He was quite a guy, and it was my honor and privilege to meet him and have lunch with him. He was suffering even then. We were in a restaurant, comfortable 72 degrees, and he was profusely sweating. His body could not regulate its temperature properly. I think the speech is, it's about 25 minutes or so, I believe. I think that it's right at 25 minutes. He had just given a speech at the U.S. Army Personnel Record Center in St. Louis, Missouri. There was a number of Special Forces veterans, including myself, there to greet him and join him for lunch. And it was a great period of time to spend with Master Sergeant Roy Benavides. Okay, we'll talk about Steve Quayle's alert here a little bit. We got some time. Let's just go ahead and do this. It's stevequayle.com is his website, and right there on the right side near the top it says alerts, and we'll click on this, and here we are. And this is dated today's date, October 24th, 2017. And the source is anonymous, and it says the following 3 paragraphs. A friend of mine sent me a copy of a text he received from a friend in the grocery store industry in Springfield, Missouri area. Here is the copy of that text. Just had a brief conversation with a friend. His son works at AG. AG is a food distributor, by the way, which is a grocery supply warehousing company. His boss said the government called them Friday afternoon and told them to stock up on water and canned goods. Did not give a reason. They said in the next 2 weeks to stock supplies of water and canned goods. Now that's the alert right there. The final paragraph says, for all that is going on right now, it is hard to say what might happen, but as we all know, whether it be civil unrest, economic collapse, natural disaster, Korea, ISIS, etc., something is coming. Pray and prepare. That's the full text of the alert at Steve Quayle's alert section at stevequayle.com. I did have another alert in mind this morning. We'll save that for tomorrow. But I know Steve. I started interviewing Steve on my first radio show in St. Louis around 1976, 77, disregard, 1996, 1997, maybe 1995, along in there. I interviewed him a number of times on my radio show in St. Louis. Steve's been at this a long time, and he has excellent sources. I tend to check Steve's website first thing in the morning. It's not necessarily the very first thing, but it's close to it every morning when I get up, see what's going on there. And it's one of those hot and cold things. He'll go for a week, 10, sometimes 2 weeks at a time with no alert. And then there'll be maybe 1 or 2 or even 3 posted in one day. So it's up and down as to whether anything's there and how significant things will be. So that's Steve Quayle's alert, and that is the prepper tip of the day. I do have, just to remind people, in case you're not aware of it, I do have 2 private sources that are working to mitigate the consequences of an EMP attack on the United States. One is in U.S. Army intelligence. The other is a flag rank officer who is working as a private contractor. There's another private source, the Department of Defense, a civilian employee who is a combat veteran of the war in Iraq. This gentleman has self-evacuated from the East Coast because of the information he's received about the Canary Islands, La Palma. And we had an alert up last week. We've taken it down, published by Professor McCanny, expressing his concern that either a natural or man-made earthquake could release a tidal wave in the Canary Islands that would travel at the speed of sound across the Atlantic Ocean, wiping out the eastern seaboard of the United States, the Caribbean islands, and having a lot of disastrous effect on the Gulf Coast as well. Also damaging the British Isles and possibly the coast of France and Portugal. So a lot going on. A lot going on. When I saw this alert this morning on Steve Quayle's website, I immediately knew I had to make a quick change in what the prepper tip of the day was going to be. Now, I lived out here in the country. This is my 13th year, I believe. I was a city dweller most of my life. And when I was a city dweller, I kept on hand, I believe, it was 150 gallons of water in 3 55-gallon blue plastic barrels specifically designed for that purpose. And I was glad I had it, along with the food that I had stocked up and so forth. It turned out that I did some testing. The amount of chlorine put into the water was enough to keep that water fresh for years. I went as long as 5 years at a time with the same water, and it stayed potable during those years. Sealed up in a nice, clean, sanitary container with the lid sealed nice and tight. And, of course, the chlorine that the city water department put in there was enough to keep that water from going bad. We will take your questions, calls, and comments here at 800-313-9443. What's on your mind? This is Talk Radio, and what's on your mind? Interesting conversation with Jimmy Gensling yesterday. He's a bit more optimistic than I am about pro-gun legislation passing before Christmas recess. If they're kept at work because of this tax matter, budgetary matters and so forth, maybe they will be able to slip in a bill that would help us with reciprocity for concealed carry between the 50 states. That would be real helpful. And the Hearing Protection Act passing would be real helpful. I hope that the NRA does not cave in to this bump stock matter. A lot of disinformation and misinformation out there. They can't, because of it's the United States, they can't make any weapon illegal, with the possible exception of nuclear devices. They can be regulated and taxed and so forth, but they can't make them illegal, including these bump stocks, which up until 2 weeks ago, hardly anybody knew what a bump stock was. I've been aware of bump stocks ever since they first came out, since I'm part of the gun culture. It's a modified rifle stock that, if held properly, allows a semi-automatic rifle to simulate automatic weapons fire. It's not automatic weapons fire for the following reason. You're still pulling the trigger every time. But the bump stock is a mechanical device with a spring inside of it that puts forward pressure on the firearm, allowing that simulated full automatic fire. We had a carbine class, our local preparedness group, this past Saturday. 2 NRA instructors, myself and another gentleman. And I made the comment during that class that the people that buy these bump stocks typically are 18 to 30-year-old young men that just want to have fun out there on the range with their buddies. They serve no useful purpose that I'm aware of. They really don't. If you're shooting anything other than a .22 with a bump stock, it gets incredibly expensive, incredibly fast, because of the way these things consume ammunition. Centerfire ammunition can easily cost between $1 and $2 per round these days. Easily. Could cost that much. So like I say, it gets real expensive real quick. Plus the possibility of damaging the firearm because of heat. And of course you can't have any accuracy of any consequence. Mr. Paddock there in Las Vegas wasn't concerned about accuracy. I found out from talking to one of my members in my American Legion post here in Davisville that Mr. Paddock was attempting to shoot fuel tanks unsuccessfully because that .223 cartridge is not powerful enough to penetrate a double wall tanker truck. Thank goodness. Could have been a far worse tragedy if he'd been able to ignite gasoline at that event in Las Vegas. That would have been far worse, no doubt about it. But that didn't happen, obviously. So at the carbine class, it was basically an introductory course. We had several students, and everybody got a lot out of it. And I was thoroughly enjoyed myself. It was a beautiful day to be on the range. In the morning we had classroom work. We went over all the basics, and we had a great lunch at the Jenny Lou Cafe, and then we went to the range where we practiced with real firearms what was being taught in the classroom. The other instructor brought with him several firearms. The students had their own firearms, and we had a lot of fun. And these training sessions will be taking place on a 1-year schedule, with the exception of first aid, which we're trying to do every 6 months. Now, yesterday, our preparedness group did a test of our FM transmitter, the first of 2. The second one is about to be installed. An FM transmitter that transmits on the commercial FM frequency so that you can pick it up on your car or truck stereo, your home stereo, portable AM FM radio. In the event of emergency, the city officials in Viburnum, Missouri would transmit on that frequency, and once an hour, as necessary, to let people know what the status was of the power outage or the ice storm or the tornado, wind damage, whatever it might be, to give updates to the entire community. Our second transmitter will be installed here in Osage Township, where I live. Everything's purchased. We think we have all the bits and pieces necessary to put together our Radio Shack. I'll be meeting with the county sheriff and the director of community of county preparedness in about 2 weeks to begin formalizing a community preparedness infrastructure for Crawford County. It's something the sheriffs wanted to do. We have a new sheriff. He's a fine young man, former Marine, has more than enough law enforcement experience to be a good sheriff, and everything I've seen this past year tells me that he will be a great sheriff. He just got elected last November and took office in January. So he's been at it now. This is his 10th month, doing a great job for our community. Reason I'm telling you these things? Well, all of you live in a county. All you American listeners out there that are living in the 50 states, I should say, more than 3,000 counties. Every county that I'm aware of has a sheriff. There may be some that done away with them, unfortunately. New World Order doesn't like sheriffs, by the way. They really don't like sheriffs, which doesn't surprise me. And every county can and should have preparedness involving county officials, including a sheriff, and whatever other county officials need to be involved, possibly the head of the paramedics if it's a county-wide situation. Might be several heads of paramedics in different regions of the county. I know that's the way it is out here. The fire chiefs, the police chiefs of the county, quite frankly, they all should be involved. All the first responders, as well as citizens. Now, when I meet with the sheriff and these other officials in a couple of weeks, we'll be putting together a plan. Call number is 800-313-9443. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Moore here. It's taken 3 years before I could offer the inter-shelter domes for sale. During those 3 years, several different governments and militaries were taking all their production. The inter-shelter dome homes may be just what you've been looking for to provide affordable, energy-efficient, permanent, and attractive housing. These dome homes are prefabricated units that can be assembled in a few hours by 2 men with a ladder and simple hand tools. Check out the photos of these dome homes built in the Arctic, on tropical beaches, in suburban areas, and in forests. All the details, many photographs, and the pricing of the dome homes are listed on the left-hand side of my homepage at thelibertyman.com. I think you'll find these homes are not only attractive, but they're energy efficient, and a bonus. You can disassemble them and reassemble them as many times as you feel you need to. Pretty great, huh? Something that's very, very unique. Check them out at my website at thelibertyman.com. Tuesday, the 24th day of October. It's always good for me to meet listeners and get feedback. I was mentioning to this young couple at movie night. We show our preparedness group has a free movie we show every Friday evening at the American Legion Hall in Davisville at 7 p.m. And getting some feedback from this couple about my radio show is helpful. I'm sitting here and by myself in my home studio. My engineer is 900 miles away in Austin, Texas, and I'm talking to thousands of people while I'm sitting here by myself. It's it's kind of an unusual space to be in, to say the least. To know that I'm sitting here in my home studio by myself, while at the same time I'm talking to several thousands of people right now in real time at 8:30 in the morning, nearly 8:30 in the morning on the 24th of October. And I'm talking to people in the future at the same time because of the archives. The future could be later today. The future could be 10 or 20 years in the future. It's just the nature of our modern technology. So it's good to get this feedback and know that I am having positive impact on people's lives. When I was talking to a young couple, the young woman mentioned one of my prepper tips today was to encourage people to stock up on feminine hygiene products and birth control products. And she was very grateful for that because it hadn't occurred to her to stock up on those items. If it wasn't for my prepper tip of the day, it may not have occurred to her to do that. So we being myself, all the great guys and gals here at Republic Broadcasting, we are having a positive impact on people, helping them to achieve their goals. And let's get back to the carbine class a little bit. I say not many, but pretty much all the men and most of the women out here in the Ozarks, Arkansas, Missouri Ozarks, grew up with firearms in the home, usually shotguns and rifles, both. Typically, if there's only one firearm in the home, it'll be a shotgun. If there's two, it'll be a shotgun and a rifle. Pistols, much less so. There's far lower percentage of pistols in these homes out here than there are rifles and shotguns, almost without exception. I'm only aware of one home in my neighborhood here in 100 square miles that doesn't have some kind of firearm in it. But, and that's, I'm not going to get into the details of that, but that's the one I'm aware of. So men and women grow up out here with rifles and shotguns, sometimes pistols, and typically the training, the instruction they get is cursory. It is not necessarily the best in terms of teaching young men and women, young men and women, boys and girls, I should say, start handling firearms at around age 6 to 8 years old. Typically here in the Ozarks, I know my grandson was shooting a 30 caliber FAL before he was fully potty trained. And of course, I was holding it. I was down on one knee, and he was standing there with my arms holding up the rifle while he pulled the trigger. He was about 3.5 years old, and he just thought that was the greatest thing. And it was unusual for me to be absorbing the recoil of that full-size battle rifle without knowing exactly when it was going to go off. That was a hoot. I wish we'd had a video of that. Young man is now soon to be 21 years old and playing football on a college scholarship. Our whole family's are so proud of him. He's doing so well. But getting back to the class, there was one young man there who I had to demonstrate how he was holding the rifle as opposed to how he should be holding the rifle. It had to do with getting a good cheek weld on the comb of that stock. Here's our bottom of the hour break. Call number 800-313-94.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Moore here. We're continuing our energy cleaner promotion, which began August of 2016. In this promotion, you get to buy an energy cleaner, $70 off retail, and a mattress pad, 10% off retail. $200 of the purchase price of the energy cleaner goes to Republic Broadcasting. This is a great way to help get energy cleaners out to people who need them and have some financial issues to deal with, and, of course, a great way to support Republic Broadcasting. Here's what you do. Send in a postcard. My address is John Moore, P.O. Box 201, Davidsville, Missouri. We pick a postcard every 2 weeks. If your postcard is drawn, you get the chance to buy the energy cleaner, $70 off retail, and 10% off the mattress pads. Put your name and your address, your telephone number, and your email address on the postcard, and we wish you the best of luck. Thank you. J.R. Moore here on Tuesday, the 24th of October. My website is thelibertyman.com. That's thelibertyman.com. You'll see a banner at the top announcing my speaking engagement this coming Saturday, October 28th, at the Red Line Inn in Hattiesburg, Mississippi at 1 p.m. Free and open to the public. I hope to see a lot of you there. We have a new video posted at my website. It's a speech given by Master Sergeant Roy Benavides. I was able to have lunch with Roy and get to meet him. He's now passed on as a consequence of injuries suffered during the Vietnam War. And, of course, also at my website are energy cleaners for sale. This is my home business. When you place your order, I'm the guy that boxes them up. I take them to the Cherryville post office, put them on the counter at the little country store there. It's a combination country store, restaurant, and post office. And I ship them out. It's a marvelous healing device is what it is. I use mine every night. I wake up pain-free in the morning after getting a great night's sleep, and you can also. What are you waiting for? If you're taking any medications for sleep, if you're taking medications for pain, arthritis pain, joint pain, back pain, well, you may just be able to do what Tim Spencer did and get off all the pain meds. Check out the energy cleaner at my website. It's only $285, shipping included, American zip codes. I do take PayPal, MasterCard, Visa, and you're not risking anything when you get your energy cleaner because I offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on the energy cleaner. Be sure and check out the factory-made fitted mattress pads to go with it. It's a great combination, and I'm sure you'll get a lot out of it. Toll-free order line for the energy cleaner and the mattress pad is 24 hours a day. Here it is, 800-592-9543. I say again, 800-592-9543. We have open lines here at Republic Broadcasting. The call number is 800-313-9443. I know a number of men who own firearms, and many of those men have little, if any, expertise with those firearms. Some of these men, they have the financial wherewithal to purchase an excellent rifle, such as the Springfield Armory M1A, which is the semi-automatic version of the M14. It's the rifleman's rifle, and it sits in their safe, and they don't know how to make the best use of that rifle. They can probably know the basic parts of loading and unloading, loading a magazine, unloading a magazine, and how to get bullets downrange, more or less where they want them to. But when it comes to really understanding that rifle, what its full capabilities are, making use of all those full capabilities, well, they can't do that. We had several students this past Saturday struggling with the basic operation of their own firearm. One young woman, she was handling it 10, 20, didn't even know how to lock the bolt back. Didn't know that was even possible. This was her own rifle. And that's not exceptional or extraordinary. That's what I expect. I've been doing this a long time. I've been an NRA firearms instructor since the late 1980s, since about 1989, 90, somewhere in there. So I've been at this a long time, and it's my expectation is that people won't know their own firearm that well. I recall I was at a casual shooting event with a couple of friends. This is, probably, I'm going to say in the in the mid to late 1980s. And I was given the opportunity to shoot a revolver, a single action revolver with an adjustable rear sight, center fire. I don't recall what the caliber was. Probably 357 or 38 or something of that nature. So I was shooting after the owner. The owner had of the pistol had shot it several times, and he handed it to me, and I shot it, and then I shot a better and tighter group than he did, which amazed him. It didn't amaze me, but it did amaze him that he could hand a man a pistol he's never shot before or even held before, and the man could pick it up and shoot better than he could his own pistol. That doesn't surprise me at all. I've had several people tell me that they would like to buy a Kimber 1911, which is top of the line, basically a hand-built custom pistol that can cost between $1,000 and $2,000 easily. And these people don't even own a firearm, don't even own a pistol, I should say. And they have this belief that getting the best pistol money can buy is the right thing to do for them. They probably have a belief that they will shoot better with the best pistol money can buy, which if they have the skill sets is true. Absolutely true. If they have the skill sets. Very few men and women can equal the accuracy of the rifles and pistols that they own. The potential accuracy, I should say. Some can, who've had the proper training and practice, but most can't. Most can't shoot to the full potential of the rifle and pistol that they own. There are some that can, but most can't. That's been my experience. Owning a more accurate rifle or more accurate pistol does very little if you haven't had the proper training and practice. One's not good without the other. The analogy I frequently use is I could walk into any art supply store and for $500 I can walk out the door with everything I need to duplicate what Picasso or Rembrandt did, but there's no way it's going to happen. I don't have those skill sets. No way. I've really had no desire to have those skill sets, and I don't have those skill sets. I can't duplicate what Picasso and Rembrandt did. Just because I own the same equipment that they did doesn't mean I can do what they did. So owning a $2,000 rifle or a $1,000 pistol does not mean you're a rifleman or a crack pistol shot. Not even close. It means you own the equipment. That's all it means. In the absence of proper training and practice on the range, you'll never acquire those skills. That's just not going to happen. There are drills you can do in the comfort and safety and privacy of your home involving rifles and pistols, and I encourage people to do that. The rifle and pistol competitors, especially the rifle competitors, they will spend hundreds of hours in the three positions, standing, sitting, and prone position in their living rooms, practicing those positions and dry firing the rifle. That does help competency on one hand. On the other, that's in addition to range time. And before we get to our next caller, a high-powered rifle shooter will go through between 5,000 and 6,000 rounds during one season of competition. And that's a combination of rounds fired in competition and rounds fired in practice. And as a consequence, at the end of the season, they take their M1A, M14 to their gunsmith and have a new barrel screwed into it and head spaced and ready to go for the following season. One new barrel per season. How about that? Glenn in Philadelphia. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, John. Hi. I'm listening to what you're saying. It's like, yes, unfortunately, I definitely fit the first category of shooters you talked about, people who don't have that much experience with their own weapons. I had joined a range a few years ago and found some time to get down there and do a little practicing and stuff. But, for me, it's a function of time and money, and everything like that. And I'm always at work and that. But I also think of the saying that you mentioned sometimes that beware the man who owns only one rifle.
That's right.
And that it behooves us to develop proficiency with our weapons. But unfortunately, as I said, I'm between my work schedule, 50 to 60 hours a week, and money and duties around the home. I often don't get time. But I did find out years ago that when I was I would sometimes go to the range with just my 4-inch barrel 357 Taurus and try and do some practice with that. And I found that I was just a terrible shot. This thing was always riding high and to the left on me, and I had it cleaned and bench tested and stuff like that, and sighted and worked with it and everything. I found out that it was folly for me to be trying to practice with 357 rounds. And, when I went with just 38 specials or even plus P, I could do a good bit better.
Right.
It just seemed, yeah. So when I target practice with that, I just use, 38 specials. And
right.
I generally, I'm not even sure I would use the Magnum rounds for self-defense. I mean, just settle for plus Ps. Really good,
Right.
yeah.
Well, bullet placement's more important with pistols than it is with rifles. Even a 44 Magnum is not all that powerful compared to a major caliber centerfire rifle. Right,
exactly. And at the moment, I don't even own rifles. I did have a good experience with a local gunsmith. For some reason, in my area, the suburbs of Philadelphia, we have right in my immediate area, some interesting places open up. One of our local sporting goods stores and gun dealers opened an indoor range a couple of years ago. And we have another gun store that opened nearby and a local gunsmith. And then they've also opened a huge, and I have nearby a huge new fancy pants indoor range of some type with all sorts of special facilities, which I haven't had a chance to visit yet. So this has all been, I guess it's a function of increased gun sales under the world's best gun salesman, Barack Obama.
That's what he was. A friend of mine who has a mail order firearms accessory business, he said, I wish that SOB would get elected every 6 months.
Yeah, because I think a lot of this has been the outgrowth of him. I took my J.C. Higgins Model 2012 gauge to this local gunsmith, young fellow who had been in the military, and it had interchangeable screw-in chokes. It's an old version of, very nice old pump that was basically a high standard 200, marketed under the J.C. Higgins name by Sears. And he got the choke was jammed in. I could not, using the wrench that came with it in a little leather pouch, get the choke out. And he was able to soak it for hours in oil and subject it to some heat. He got it out without bunging up the threads. So I now can use my interchangeable chokes.
Good. All right.
All righty then.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess I know I have the need to practice and stuff like that, but I'm kind of stuck in this mode where just the demands of day-to-day life and time limitations more so than money. That I don't get out to do that. I do want to get some instruction on that. I have an auto pistol. I think it was a little 22 auto pistol I used to shoot at the range. And I remember the first time I got a jam with that, being flustered and having to get instructions on clearing jams.
Right.
Which is that's also very essential with handguns, because jams are going to happen. So I want to get some instruction with put in some range time with my 1911 before I would really feel, comfortable with it, as though I had really developed, a more conversant proficiency with it, for using it on a regular basis. And I wouldn't want to carry it as my self-defense weapon until I had done that. So.
That's
all right,
wise.
John, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for the call, Glenn. We appreciate it. The call number is 800-313-9443. Glenn's situation is not all that unusual. People caught up in a day job that consumes, in his case, he's talking 60 hours a week. I worked between 60 and 80 hours a week for years, and I was so proud of my work ethic and really was very enthusiastic about the work I was doing. And that's the way it was back then. For about a 5-year period of time, working 60, 80 hours a week, doing at that time primarily surveillance work. As an investigator and paralegal, I typically worked 50, 60 hours a week, depending on if we were in serious trial preparation or in routine day-to-day trial preparation. And it's finding whatever you learn that when you're working those kind of hours, the discretionary time is very precious and very valuable, and you use it discreetly to accomplish the most important things. It can't be put off. I know when I was working 80 hours a week, that simple things like getting groceries and getting a haircut was really difficult to fit those things in, especially in the days before Missouri allowed shopping on Sundays. Missouri had laws prohibiting retail sales on Sundays from almost everywhere except pharmacies, convenience stores, and gas stations. And that changed, I'm going to say around 1980 or so, 1980, 81, somewhere in there. It changed to where retail could conduct business on Sundays as well. And for people working shift work and working the kind of hours I was, that was something that helped a lot to be able to do things on Sunday that otherwise could not happen. Okay, but if it's a priority, you'll fit it in. If you're working 80 hours a week, I would suggest not doing that for too long. It's really detrimental to your health, and long term, it will not serve you well. So that's just my opinion based on having been there and done that. For a short period of time, it's okay. Here's our break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. J.R. Moore here. We have a special promotion on my show from now until August. If you mail me a postcard, you may get the opportunity to buy an energy cleaner for $70 off retail. $200 of the purchase price goes to Republic Broadcasting. We have a drawing for this promotion every other Thursday. The details are at my website. Just click on the orange sticker on the right side of my homepage at thelibertyman.com. Thank you very much for listening, and hope you can get those postcards in. Have a great day. All right, we are back. Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Moore here on Tuesday, the 24th of October. We got a special treat. We got Leon Green a little bit early today, and he wants to jump right in here and contribute his 2 bits to the conversation. Good morning, Leon.
Good morning, John. How you doing, sir?
Really good. So what have you got to contribute this morning, sir?
Well, I heard what you were talking about with the training aspect, and
right.
I
Exactly.
definitely think that the special forces, especially the SEALs, they do, and Spetsnaz, they do hours upon hours of dry practice before they ever reach before they reach the range. So their trigger finger is perfected. Another great idea is using, those click pens. You can approximate, if you have a Glock or a really sensitive, like 1911. And you talked about the Kimber about 20 minutes ago. That got me excited because that was the first one I was going to buy. I mean, it was impeccable, incredible trigger. And then the more I looked at, some of the larger capacity Glocks, even though they're a little bit clunky, and their reliability I've noticed over the last 15 years is superb. And so many people consider the Glock like the AK of the pistol arena. And so, And so I do think it's crucial, like you said, that to get the training. And so many people can practice while you're driving around, or when you're working, just use a click pen. And so you can work on trigger reset, and so you don't slam off the trigger or go all the way to home. And so that is more of a nuanced skill to improve your techniques. And I should also be doing. I'm going to be getting a Cert Pro. I have the infrared laser now, but I'm going to get the whole software package. So it allows me to practice at home on a big screen. And you can also do it on a wall as well. And so it's not so crazy expensive to be able to practice with those if you can't get the range. And like you said, it's a matter of priority. What's more important, watching the football game or baseball game or basketball game, or getting prepared, in that skill set? And so next weekend I'm taking my son to an Appleseed shoot. And so he's never done that. And so we could waste time watching TV and watching the latest soaps and things like that, or we can actually work on something that will mean something in an emergency.
It's outstanding, and you're such a good dad to take your son on all those training adventures. Well, people are sitting there listening to us all over the United States, all over the world, which other parts of the world they may or may not have somewhat easy access to firearms. Obviously in the UK, and they don't in other places. But if you have access to firearms, you can and should have access to training and take advantage of that, right, Leon?
Absolutely. And matter of fact, and we can talk about this, when you get a chance, but I have many gift certificates. I go to Frontset a lot because I'm out there. But, I thought we could make it as an incentive. Anyone who gets it, I'd give them a free 4-day handgun, rifle, shotgun. And so you can consider if you'd like me to do that. And then even for people who don't have it, I could include a free rental, free rental. And all they pay for is the background check and the actual ammo that they'd have to use anyway.
That's very generous. Very generous. Okay. We have a top of the hour break. We'll be back after the break. Stay tuned. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. J.R. Moore here, our second hour on Tuesday, the 24th day of October. The prepper tip of the day, there's an alert at Steve Quayle's website. That's stevequayle.com. The alert says stock up now on food, canned goods, and water. Canned goods and water, right now. I read the alert last hour. I'm not going to read it again. If you want to read it, go to Steve Quayle's website. That's stevequayle.com. You can read it for yourself. Make your own decision. This coming Saturday, the 28th, I'll be speaking at the Red Line Inn in Hattiesburg, Mississippi at 1 p.m. It's free and open to the public. I hope you can make it. And last but not least, we have a new video posted on my website. It's a speech given by Master Sergeant Roy Benavides. I met Roy and had lunch with him back in the early 90s. Roy was a recipient of the Medal of Honor for his activities during a 6-hour battle in Vietnam, which eventually cost his life. He was wounded severely. It took him a year to recover from those wounds. And when I was with Roy, we were in a comfortable restaurant at 72 degrees, and he was sweating profusely. His body could not regulate its temperature, and he eventually died as a consequence of those wounds. Most Tuesday mornings, the second hour, we visit with Leon Green. Leon is a gentleman who's taken the time, made the effort to become quite knowledgeable about all the myriad of ways that incorporating essential oils, especially doTERRA essential oils, into your daily life can help you have the fun, full, happy, healthy, productive life that we all want to have. Good morning, Leon.
Good morning, John. How are you doing, sir?
Really good. Well, we had a conversation last hour about marksmanship and training and so forth, which is always a fun topic for both of us. But this hour, we're going to focus primarily on health-related matters. And health is not well understood by most people. When I say most, probably 75% plus of the people in this country really don't get it, do they, Leon?
Absolutely. I mean, this is the first generation in American history that their parents are going to live, or the children are going to live less years than the parents do.
Right.
Because of the food, diet, lifestyle, and everything. So,
right.
Yeah, and if you notice, obesity has gone through the roof, just like diabetes. They're tied together. So, yes, it is a crucial part, especially in preparedness. I mean, many people can get away with it during normal times, but when emergencies occur, it's much more difficult to get around with your wheelchair if there's broken glass and trees on the ground, like a flood, or if there's a power outage, your scooter will work for, a day or two, and then once that's done, you'll be walking or crawling or however. So, it is crucial to maintain a great, or at least a average lifestyle to be able to protect yourself and your loved ones. And a lot of times Americans disregard that to their demise.
That's right. That's right. Well, up until the early part of the 20th century, medicine practice in this country was homeopathic medicine. In the 19-teens, money was given to the teaching hospitals to convert them from homeopathic teaching hospitals to allopathic teaching hospitals. And that's what happened. It's been just more than a century ago. And we had, for the most part, a pretty healthy, robust population back then. Cancer was almost unheard of. If there was a cancer patient in a hospital, a lung cancer patient, for example, in a teaching hospital, the instructors would be sure to bring all the students through there to see the patient with lung cancer for the following reason. The students were told the following, Leon: this is a person with lung cancer. You may spend your entire practice, your 30 or 40-year practice, and never see somebody that has lung cancer. It is such a rare condition. So we have a patient here that's got this condition, and we want you to see this person so that if the small chance comes up that you do have a patient with lung cancer, you know what to look for. That's how rare it was back then, Leon. It's certainly changed, hasn't it?
Absolutely. Now in America, 1 in 2 men will get cancer, and 1 in 3 women will get cancer in their lifetime. I'm not saying they're going to die from it, but they're just going to get it, whether it's melanoma or lung cancer. And colon cancer is the most easily preventable of all the cancers in the world. That is all based on what you put in your mouth.
Exactly. Well, among my neighbors, my peers out here where I live, I would say about half or more have had some form of cancer or died from it, one or the other. And that's, of course, a big part of that is some of the younger baby boomers, the baby boomers who were unfortunate, and there was tens of millions of them that got the polio vaccine tainted with cancer virus back in the late 50s, early 60s. And I would hazard a guess that more than half of those are going to get cancer. I would say probably upwards of 75 to 90% of those folks will get cancer because they were given a vaccine that had a live cancer virus in it. It's a very tragic situation, isn't it, sir?
Absolutely. And whether it was through negligence or ignorance, those people are still being impacted. And the government has, and the organizations that produce it, and even the pharmaceuticals now have their tort reform, so they can be sued. So, whenever people just blatantly take these experimental drugs, whether they're cancer drugs or just the new virus of the season, whether it's Ebola, H1N1, swine flu, or whatever, they are completely protected. So they're trying to mandate that people get these viruses, especially during emergencies. But
you're misspeaking yourself there. You're misspeaking yourself. You said viruses mean vaccines.
Vaccines, I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. So, and because of that, the entities have there's, it's not like they're really worried about it. It's like, hey, we're going to make millions off this. It's a mandated vaccine, and and we're completely absolved from it. So that's a win-win for them completely. The stockholders are going to make tons of money, and the people are going to be impacted drastically. So you may have heard of Guillain-Barré virus or syndrome. That is or GBS. That was one of the repercussions of a lot of the thimerosal and mercury, and that's been pretty much exonerated. A lot of times you'll hear of these things out of court, in which people they'll pay out of court, but like the autism, things of that nature. But if you have a strong immune system, and that means your probiotics in your stomach and your gut are in a ratio of 80% probiotics versus 20%, and your body can handle 20%. It's when it goes the other direction that you have the massive candida issue, leaky gut, and then your immune system is compromised, and then it all starts to go downhill. So, and your stomach, and even that commercial you talked about, I heard earlier, talking about cortisol levels and stress. During emergencies, you fall under those issues more. So it's crucial that you make these changes in your diet now, along with your lifestyle. And the advantage of having something as simple as essential oils, or that they are able to assist you in cleansing and giving you the tools to have your body repair itself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about how to help you have a healthier life here, to get yourself off the pharmaceutical products and to substitute doTERRA essential oils for those pharmaceutical products one at a time. You may be taking 3 or 4 or 8 or 10 pharmaceutical products on a daily basis, which right now are available. During a crisis, they won't be. Right now, you can start out with doTERRA essential oils and determine which oil or oils, plural, can help you wean yourself off these harmful, destructive, deadly, expensive drugs. And here's what you do. It's real simple. Number one, send me an email. My email address is thelibertyman@AOL.com. By return email, I will send you my doTERRA website link. That's what works the most efficiently. Let me send you my doTERRA website link. And if you forget my email address, my email address is at my website at thelibertyman.com. That's number one. Number two, get yourself a copy of 2 books, 2 different editions of the same book, the 5th edition and the 9th edition of the book titled Modern Essentials. They're 2 hardcover reference books. The 5th edition says things are not allowed to say in the 9th edition, which is okay, because it's the combination of the 2 will help you achieve your goal. Typically, when I go to look up something, Leon, it takes me 3 to 5 minutes at the most to find exactly what I need. Doesn't it you the same way?
Absolutely. And as you get more and more versed in the oils and how the different oils are beneficial specifically for different systems in the body, so, it'll even be faster. So you'll know which ones have far-reaching, like the frankincense. Whenever you're in doubt, you can always take frankincense because it is an adaptogen. So it's one of the few oils that has over 650 known components, and they're still learning as we speak. And that's because nature is so complex and so sophisticated. But the whole information about the oils are very simple, in which you can apply them topically, you can do it sublingually, and you can breathe them. And I'm saying this specifically to doTERRA essential oils. I don't want to speak into others, because many of the bottles that you find at Wally World, at even at health food stores, they'll say not for internal use. And it's not that they may not be effective, but their lawyers don't want to get sued because of class action suit, because the oils are 50 to 70 times more concentrated than the underlying herb. So if you have awesome peppermint or lavender, and you've concentrated it 50 to 70 times, but it is not grown in a organic manner, and the people or the farmers nearby are using pesticides like glyphosate and others, those pesticides will get absorbed by the lavender leaves and the peppermint and everything else, thyme, rosemary, basil, and then they'll just concentrate that poison 70 times as well. So that's why it's crucial where you get the oils. And doTERRA's oils are specifically certified pure therapeutic grade, which means it's actually beyond organic. Every batch and every liter is tested for pesticides, insecticides, VOCs, microbes. There's over 15 different tests by 2 outside certified laboratories that do these tests, whereas the vast majority of companies will do them all in-house. And if you doubt it, please, if you have some on your nightstand or nearby, call the company and say, who does your tests and what tests do you do? And most of them will say, we do a gas chromatograph and a mass spectrometry. And we do those 2, and that's it. We all do it in-house. And so if they have some amount of benzene or toluene or some poison, so it's only, 2 parts per million. Well,
right.
You may say, well, that's very small, but do you want any poison in your life? And so doTERRA's attitude is we have no pesticides, period. And I've been here long enough that I've seen and I've heard of rejected batches. And we don't sell them, period. We don't dilute them enough that say we drop them down. Our attitude is none. We don't want any poisons, period. And so, and many people say, well, what happens to all that oil that was tainted? Well, our attitude is we don't care. We're not going to sell it. We're not going to get a discount. We're not going to do one-offs or seconds or blemished. We don't sell it, period. And so there are plenty of companies that will scoop that up and sell it, and they'll say pure on there because it is pure oil, but it doesn't say it's also pure benzene or glyphosate and everything else. And that's why on the bottle, the bottles that some people will see, it'll say not for internal use, do not apply on skin.
Well, that's a huge heads up right there. That's prima facie evidence that there's things there you don't want to consume. Just like the most grocery store toothpaste says, if you swallow the toothpaste, call poison control, which is why I don't consume any grocery store toothpaste.
Absolutely. doTERRA has one with On Guard, and we don't put fluoride in there, and we use the oils in the On Guard blend, which are cinnamon, clove, eucalyptus, rosemary, and wild orange, and those are known as bacterial. They kill bacteria and also viruses. So that is very effective to use, and that's why we use it. That's the only toothpaste I use. When I go out camping, when I'm out dry camping and water's at a premium, I can even brush my teeth, stick it right in the device, stick it back. I always take a Sonicare, but I am confident because of how effective it is in killing bacteria. Whereas I would never do that with, the store-bought poisons with fluoride in it, and because then all those bacteria just multiply in there, and then you're just sticking in a whole tube of, a whole mouthful of bacteria that have been sitting on your stuff, on your bristles for the last 8 hours, and then all you're doing is infecting yourself. So it is crucial that you protect yourself now while everything's good, and to learn more about it. And that's what John and I are trying to convey, is that it's pretty simple. Right. It's just a matter of taking the time.
Well, we don't know how much time we've got. Steve Quayle's alert that he has posted this morning is scary stuff. I don't know if anything's going to happen of any consequence. I do know that the prudent thing to do is to hope for the best and plan for the worst. So planning for the worst is grid down. That means no more pharmaceutical products, period, end of paragraph. And the time to get started is immediately. Procrastinating is just going to make it more likely that you'll find yourself with no pharmaceutical products and no essential oils. Right now, right, Leon?
Yes, sir. Because when UPS and USPS and FedEx stopped shipping, period, like what happened in Florida. I mean, even doTERRA got a notice from the United States Post Office saying, until further notice, no shipments will be sent to parts of Florida. And right. We had customers that were down there that were disappointed, like, oh, where's my doTERRA? Well, it's the same like the people who don't have drugs. If you buy pharmaceutical drugs through the mail, it's the same way. So, and Puerto Rico is still in the dark in many areas down there. So, if there's no power there and there's no post office to drop off your medical supplies, whether they're doTERRA or chemicals, you'll be out of luck. So now is the time to prepare in advance and to have the knowledge. Get the books. And I'd love to be able to answer questions for consulting. I have many calls weekly on that.
Right. Well, we'll give that number out when we get back. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after the break. Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Moore here. It's taken 3 years before I could offer the inter-shelter domes for sale. During those 3 years, several different governments and militaries were taking all their production. The inter-shelter dome homes may be just what you've been looking for to provide affordable, energy-efficient, permanent, and attractive housing. These dome homes are prefabricated units that can be assembled in a few hours by 2 men with a ladder and simple hand tools. Check out the photos of these dome homes built in the Arctic, on tropical beaches, in suburban areas, and in forests. All the details, many photographs, and the pricing of the dome homes are listed on the left-hand side of my homepage at thelibertyman.com. I think you'll find these homes are not only attractive, but they're energy efficient, and a bonus. You can disassemble them and reassemble them as many times as you feel you need to. Pretty great, huh? Something that's very, very unique. Check them out at my website at thelibertyman.com. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. J.R. Moore here on Tuesday, the 24th of October. Quick reminder, this coming Saturday, the 28th of October, I'll be speaking at the Red Line Inn in Hattiesburg, Mississippi at 1 p.m. It's free and open to the public. Visiting with Leon Green, we're talking about doTERRA essential oils. And Leon, your office telephone number is how people can access private no-charge consultations, isn't it, sir?
Absolutely, and that number is 303-4905-2188, Colorado.
Okay. 303-4905-2188. That's Mountain Time. Call up Leon, set up that private no-charge consultation. I know people don't want to discuss their private health matters live on the air, and that's understandable. But it's easy to get started. My wife, Dr. Moore, is the family physician. She gets charged with picking out which doTERRA oils we get every month, and we have a growing inventory, a growing stockpile of doTERRA essential oils that could easily be used by my grandchildren and even my great-grandchildren, because there's no expiration date on these oils, is there, Leon?
Absolutely, and actually to say the politically correct answer is because they are considered food supplements in the FDA, Food and Drug Administration guidelines, we now put that on there. But officially, there's a date on there. But unofficially, the oils, as long as they're cool, dark, and dry, will last indefinitely. So,
right. Well, when they pulled oils out of King Tut's tomb that were still viable, that's all you need to know. That's all I need to know. It's kind of ironic. Because of a business I was involved in, Leon, I was a member of the International Bottled Water Association for a year, and I got their monthly publication. And
yes.
Consumer demanded that expiration dates be put on bottled water, which obviously a sealed-up bottle of pure water would last indefinitely on one hand. On the other, consumers demanded that there be an expiration date on the bottled water. So to meet that demand, the bottled water industry started putting expiration dates on something that can't expire. And in this case, with the FDA, it's more a matter of government bureaucrats creating a fantasy, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, the same water we're drinking right now was what Jesus walked on 2,000 years ago, and what was in the flood of Noah. So, it's still effective, and it goes through the whole water cycle, evaporation and precipitation, but we're still drinking it. It's just a matter of how pure is the water. And so that's where, how many of you have a Sawyer or a Lifestar or a Berkey filter in your bug out bag right now that you can take with you and able to distill, or you can always, boil the water as well, which will kill bacteria, a 5-minute roiling boil. But water is crucial, especially in emergencies. And more people died after the tsunami in 2004, the Indonesian earthquake tsunami, because of tainted water than they did from the actual surge and the water damage, because they had more, they were drinking tainted water, and that'll kill you just as easy as, being impacted by a 20-foot wall of water.
Right. Well, here's what I tell people. That first drink you take of bad water is a one-way ticket to diarrhea, dehydration, and death. And throughout the world, when it comes to fatalities under 5 years of age, worldwide, it's bad water, isn't it, Leon?
Yes, sir. Water kills more. Tainted water and diarrhea specifically, kills so many millions of people internationally. And diarrhea is the second, and I have to verify, I believe second or third highest killer after malaria. And so it's horrid to see how many people die needlessly just with something as simple as water. I mean, people say, I have my pop. Well, pop is terrible for you. One drink of pop, the standard size bottle, has anywhere from 7 to 10 teaspoons of sugar. And because it has the sugar in it, it shuts down your immune system for 4 hours. So if you jump on a plane, you travel internationally, all the bugs that are in the air, your immune system is turned off during that time frame. And then you're exposed to that. It's really funny to go shopping. And I've been at Walmart recently, and I saw these people, the cashiers had these gloves on, and I asked them about it, and I knew it, but there's a lot of fecal material on the bills. And what happens is they use it to protect themselves. So when you travel, you can use the doTERRA blend called On Guard. I do it every half an hour because I'm going to be making a trip overseas for 12 hours going to Munich and then further points east. And while I'm there with my son, we're going to be taking the oils because I don't hate to be, instead of skiing in Austria, being sick in Munich. And so it's important to me to stay healthy.
Right. Well, that's a smart thing to do. And I encourage people to do that. Get the books, the 5th and the 9th edition of Modern Essentials, available at Amazon.com and other places. I get my books from Amazon usually. And get my doTERRA website link. Just send me an email, and I will send you my doTERRA website link by return email. We got a bottom of the hour break. You got a question or comment, give us a call at 800-313-9443.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Moore here. We're continuing our energy cleaner promotion, which began August of 2016. In this promotion, you get to buy an energy cleaner, $70 off retail, and a mattress pad, 10% off retail. $200 of the purchase price of the energy cleaner goes to Republic Broadcasting. This is a great way to help get energy cleaners out to people who need them and have some financial issues to deal with. And, of course, a great way to support Republic Broadcasting. Here's what you do. Send in a postcard. My address is John Moore, P.O. Box 201, Davidsville, Missouri. We pick a postcard every 2 weeks. If your postcard is drawn, you get the chance to buy the energy cleaner, $70 off retail, and 10% off the mattress pads. Put your name and your address, your telephone number, and your email address on the postcard, and we wish you the best of luck. Thank you. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. J.R. Moore here on Tuesday, the 24th of October. My website is thelibertyman.com. That's thelibertyman.com. We have a new video posted on my website today as of last night. It's a speech given by Master Sergeant in the Green Berets. It's well worth your time. It's well worth your time. This particular Green Beret is a Vietnam veteran. He was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor for being in combat there. Master Sergeant Roy Benavides. I got to have lunch with Roy back in the early 90s. Great guy, very humble man, very soft-spoken. He eventually died as a consequence of the injuries he received in Vietnam. And so I encourage people to watch. It's a fun speech to watch. It's serious and funny at the same time. He was a great public speaker, by the way. Also, my website, of course, are energy cleaners for sale. This is my home business. When you place your order, I'm the guy that boxes them up. I take them to the country post office in Cherryville, Missouri, and ship them off to you. I use mine every night. I do. I use mine every night. It's a marvelous healing device. If you have arthritis pain or joint pain, it will probably help. Not getting a great night's sleep, it'll probably help there also. Back pain, help there as well. I offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. That's from me to you personally. And I do stand behind that guarantee. If you're not getting the results you're looking for, you box it up, you ship it back, I refund your money, no questions asked. Only $285 shipping included in American zip codes. Yes, I do take PayPal, the most secure way to make any payment online, MasterCard, Visa. And you can send me a check. I've got a couple of checks just in the last 3 days. Toll-free hour line, 24 hours a day. Here it is, 800-592-9543. I say again, 800-592-9543. Visiting with Leon Green, we're talking about doTERRA essential oils. And Leon, we got a caller on hold here. We've got Scott in Arizona. Good morning, Scott.
Let me do a quick plug for the energy cleaner. It extended my work day by several hours. I do forestry work every day, and
right.
And it's that along with Deep Blue, and it's really improved my back a lot. But anyway,
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to India. We are, and right now in my kit I have lavender, peppermint, lemon, On Guard, digestion. Do you add or subtract anything to that?
Leon,
No, that's
you're up to Leon.
Yes, sir. What I would definitely do is add some Terra Shield. I have it in a spray bottle. Protect you from mosquito bites.
Say that again.
What dog? It's called Terra Shield. Terra Shield.
Oh yeah.
And so instead of having taking off or any of those poisons, and you can spray this right on your skin. Unlike the DEET, which specifically says on the bottle to not to touch the skin. It's supposed to be for clothing only. So you can spray that. You may even want to take oregano and On Guard Plus. Now you said India, and I have friends that have gone there, and
right.
they've talked about how they got sick halfway into their trip,
right.
and they just canceled it because the Calcutta, Mumbai hospital were not
Scott, have you
high
been to a third world country? Scott, have you been to a third world country before?
No, this is the first time. So
is somebody paying you a lot of money to go there? I hope. Scott?
It's an orphanage.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
it's a missionary work.
I got you. Now, here's something you're going to want. It's peppermint. You ever been in around a barnyard on a hot, humid day?
Yes.
Where there's lots of animals? Okay. Imagine an entire country that smells like that.
That's what I'm beginning doing.
Okay. All right.
They showed me a picture of the kitchen
so peppermint underneath your nostrils on your upper lip will help. And you've got a learning experience ahead of you, sir.
I realize this.
Okay.
Yes,
that's why I'm getting advice from you guys.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Can I give you
something else? Now, something else for your personal security. When I went to Europe, I knew I would not be allowed to transport firearms, so I got myself a fiberglass cane. I don't need a cane or use a cane, but I could discreetly carry a cane as if I needed it, and if I needed a weapon, I also had a weapon.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so it goes through all the metal detectors and everything.
Well, just walk with it like you need it, and it won't be an issue. I had a collapsible cane that fit inside my luggage, but I saw many people with a cane that just went through security just like everybody else.
Yeah, because I was running, some of those flashlights, the aluminum bodies and stuff. I don't know if they let you through with those or not.
Well, a fiberglass cane will allow you to pass through security. You really don't want to get that close to somebody anyway. A cane is a good 3 feet long or so, and it can be a formidable weapon in the hands of a determined person.
Okay.
Okay, Scott. Well, good luck on your trip. Let us know how it goes, all right?
Scott?
Hello?
John, can I interject something?
Go ahead, Leon, yeah.
Yes, if you write my number down, I'd love to give you some specifically for that, for orphanages. And how long are you expecting to be there?
2 weeks over Christmas.
Yes, we were in an AIDS orphanage in South Africa for 6 months. Supposed to be 3 years. And the things we saw down there, I'd love to be able to give you some other ideas since I've learned. And normally, most missionaries, they mandate that you go to another third world country before you ever get to India. So you're being thrown into the quote, worst scenarios in the whole world. There's some places in Calcutta that missionaries will come back and they even lose their faith. So I'd love to give you some information that I've learned. My number is 303-495-2188. And if you can maybe speak in an hour or so or any time after that, I'd love to be able to pass on specifically about the oils, the things I learned when I was just in Johannesburg.
All right.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for the call, Scott. Be sure and talk to Leon. Yeah. What I tell people is these beautiful travel logs you see if you watch television shows about traveling to these third world countries, they show attractive people in colorful costumes and beautiful scenery. But television does not have the sense of smell attached to it, doesn't it, Leon?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. So Scott's in for quite a wake-up call, and I say the following, and I stand behind it. There's 7 billion people on this planet. Majority of them live in places that smell like a barnyard on a hot summer day. That's more than half the people on this planet. And that's my reality. The exceptions, of course, are Europe, North America, and Japan is one of the cleanest places on the planet, by the way, and Hong Kong. But Scott's in for an education. Moving on from there, Leon, you're going to be giving Scott some advice on his personal health and safety and for the health and safety of the youngsters in the orphanage, aren't you?
Absolutely, and it sounds like he's also taking his family as well, so we're going to cover all the bases there. And I've had people go do missionary work, and, I ask them to bring as many bottles as they can, on the plane. Don't worry about shampoo and all that superfluous stuff. But and I mean, even the wife will be more interested in carrying that. But you can't really get, especially in we do have an Indian office, but he may not have access to it. So if he takes as much as he can in those 1 quart containers, the plastic bags, the Ziploc bags, then he can always buy shampoo and all the other sundries, the liquids that he wants overseas, and then also put as much as you can and how much whatever his budget affords into his check-in. And so when you're traveling, you can bless the kids there too, because there were people that were dying in Zambia from something as simple as a mosquito bite. And when I met this man who lost his mother 8 months earlier, and then his father from malaria 3 weeks earlier, and when we were coming back from this carpentry shop in Lusaka, Zambia, and it was dusk, and what happens? You could hear these mosquitoes. Boy, did I become like a turtle. My neck went up, and I was like, where is, and this is before I even knew of doTERRA. This was 20-some years ago.
Right.
It was like, where is, where are my long sleeve shirts, and where's my, so I have that kind of,
right.
And it could be life-saving, especially his life.
Yeah. Well, when I was in Vietnam, we were at, when I got off the plane in Vietnam at my duty station. So it said, "Welcome to Canto Airfield, elevation 0.6 feet." So, and water everywhere. And my goodness, the mosquitoes could almost pick you up and carry you away. They were so plentiful. As soon as it started getting dark, the mosquitoes came out. And guard duty at night in Vietnam is a hoot. Dealing with mosquitoes, the Army has this disgusting bug repellent that does work more or less. Plus, you button up everything real tight. Button up the collar of your shirt, turn up the collar of your shirt, roll down your sleeves, button the sleeves, wear a hat. We didn't have those. Had mosquito nets that you can buy at the sporting goods store. We simply didn't have those, but we did have mosquito nets. Thank goodness we had mosquito nets. So it was kind of ironic when I got home from Vietnam. The first week I woke up, I would reach out expecting to touch a mosquito net, and I wasn't touching anything. So that was kind of disconcerting there for that first week. But the oils will help Scott in his travels and help his family in their travels and help the youngsters in this orphanage. And hopefully they will keep whatever is given to them and not sell it. I know friends of mine, they were packaging up toiletries to be shipped to some third world country as part of a Christian mission thing. And I was telling them what you need to do is to take a black magic marker and X out all the boxes and all the containers with black exit, whether it's toothpaste or mouthwash or toothbrushes, so that they can't be sold in the black market. Because that's where a lot of American charity ends up, is being sold in the black market instead of going to the people it's intended for.
Exactly. When you were talking about the malaria and mosquito nets, that's one thing. It was crucial to have. It didn't matter, even if you're going out. And many people think, okay, you have to go to Soweto and things like that. No, even if you go out into the jungle and you do a safari, those mosquitoes are out there in mass, and they're biting the wildebeest, and they bite the two-legged animals as well. And so you're just a mammal with blood, and that's all they want. So the oils can benefit him as a prophylactic. And the reason I was talking about On Guard Plus is that everything in On Guard, the blend by doTERRA, plus it also has the oregano, melissa, and black pepper. And those are highly effective once you've already succumbed. If you didn't use the oils as a prophylactic or preventative to get sick, and now you're trying to recoup. And it's much easier to not get sick than it is to get sick, and now you're dealing with diarrhea. And you're trying to maintain security on your children and your spouse when you could be focused on having fun and enjoying the time there instead of sitting in a hospital with sick people and dying people. So here's one incentive I thought about. I thought about it this morning. I said, maybe, and we can discuss it more, but I sent you an email, and it describes how I'd love to be able to motivate people and incentivize, especially the guys who, are procrastinating. They're like, I want to do the training like we talked about last month, and I would like to be able to give away some certificates. So if you want to check that out, and if you agree with that, we can describe it while supplies last. I'd love to be able to bless people and allow them to get some training at the same time. They get some kits that will help their family during these upcoming crises.
All right. That's good, because we don't know when the next crisis is going to happen, do we, Leon?
Absolutely. All we know, the only thing guaranteed in life is change. And we saw the change we had for the last 8 years, and that wasn't positive. And with their offspring of Antifa and George Soros and all the other people, what's happening is it's just going to continue to get worse. And November 4th is coming right around the turn. And so, with their motivation, whether they're going to be a bunch of snowflakes or not, there'll still be some issues. We saw what happened in Berkeley, and if that is supposed to be their galvanized day, then I would say it's going to be hotter than much more than what all the fires in Berkeley occurred.
All right. I got the email here, Leon, about your incentives, and let's see. The Home Essentials Kit, you get a free 4-day handgun, shotgun, rifle class. Natural Solutions Kit, twice that, which would mean, 8 days of training?
They could get 2, so if they have spouses, or they could get, if it was just say it was a single.
2 4-day training classes, okay. And a gun rental at Front Sight. So if this helps people, if you want to participate in this, just send me an email and get the doTERRA website link, so you can go ahead and get the Home Essentials Kit or the Natural Solutions Kit and get the gun sight training certificates. It's very generous of you, Len, to be doing that.
Yes, sir. I go out there, and people may ask, where is Front Sight? It's 45 miles west-southwest of Vegas, so many people fly in, and you can camp there. They even have campsites. So people who are prepping, and what I really like going when I go out there, I've been staying in a hotel out there in the last 20 years because they have a tarmac and they have the desert right outside. So I would work my preps. I see things that work and things that don't, and I get up and I have an extra hour of sleep both ways because I'm not driving into Vegas, which is 45 miles away. And I'm able to relax, read books, catch up, watch these videos like you were talking about with Steve Quayle and audios and podcasts. I'm able to catch up. And, there's many people that are out there too. So you get to meet other preppers, and there are a lot more conservatives and preppers in our community out there because they realize, how important it is to be trained. And for women, it'd be a great gift for spouses, but also for women, about 40% of the attendees there are women. It's not a boot camp, and they even have children there too, so they have youth camp.
It sounds like all ages and everybody's welcome. Here's our break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. J.R. Moore here on Tuesday, the 24th of October, visiting with Leon Green. We now have an offer that we're putting out here to all of you. If you want to get yourself a free 4-day handgun, shotgun, rifle class at Front Sight, one of the best tactical training places in the country, get yourself a Home Essentials Kit, a doTERRA Home Essentials Kit, and you get yourself a free 4-day handgun, shotgun, rifle class at Front Sight down there in Las Vegas. If you get the Natural Solutions Kit, you get 2 of these classes. So you get 2 4-day handgun, shotgun, and rifle classes. You want to participate in this? Here's what you do. Send me an email. By return email, I will send you my doTERRA website link, so you can buy either your Home Essentials Kit or your Natural Solutions Kit. And, of course, you want to get a copy of the book, Modern Essentials, 5th edition, as well as the 9th edition. Once you've made your purchase of the Home Essentials Kit, you get that free 4-day handgun, shotgun, rifle class at Front Sight. or if you get the Natural Solutions Kit, 2 4-day handgun, shotgun, rifle class. That's a lot of training, isn't it, Leon?
For people, Leon? Many times. Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm here. So, yes, it is outstanding. The training, and they start everybody off on the basics. So people who don't have any skills or don't even own a gun, they can learn, as well as people who may be very skilled. And so you can also choose if you want handgun, rifle, or shotgun. It's a 4-day class, and they go into everything from simulators to shoot, no shoot, and get into the mindset and some of the legal aspects at night. And so it is very, it is intensive. It's a lot of fun, and it for people who've never been there before, have never taken any training, their confidence goes up drastically, and they'll probably shoot better than 90% of the average Americans, because in that time frame you shoot about 1,000 rounds. So in 4 days,
right.
It's out of, and it's boot camp. They're not yelling at you. And I've heard of other places in which it's like drill sergeants, and women and children don't need to be exposed to that, and neither do guys. So that's why it's really nice to learn in a peaceful setting and a very, very positive learning environment. So I've gone there. I've taken over 88 classes, but now I'm doing the advanced classes, precision rifle, the advanced integrated night shoots, things like that. So everybody can start at the same thing I did 20 years ago. They can aspire to be as good as they want to be. But time is definitely of the essence now, and that's why we're doing this while supplies last, because if we go through 20 or 30 of them, I don't mind blessing people. And this is coming from me. It's not coming from doTERRA. So when I run out, it's all I've run out.
Well, it's gone. It's gone. So we have this opportunity for about 20 people here, John Moore listeners. And the 4-day class is for either a handgun or a shotgun or a rifle, 4 days with the firearm of your choice. Of course, you get the Natural Solutions Kit. You get 2 of these classes, so you can take a 4-day handgun class and a 4-day rifle class. Leon, thank you, sir. We appreciate this offer.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
That's it for the day. We'll be back tomorrow with Professor McCanning. In the meantime, get your medical supplies, energy cleaning, your essential oils now while you can, your firearms, ammunition. Never, ever give up your guns. Please do have a fun, safe, productive day, and God bless America.